Hi everyone, it's Pip here from queenpipcards.com. Welcome to my class in a box. Today my class is based around the Every Good Wish stamp set, which is this one. This is in the 2017, forget which year I'm in, 2017 autumn and winter catalogue. It's a rubber stamp set, so all the stamps are rubber rather than photopolymer. And it covers just two main sentiments, but then it has other sentiments that you can put inside your cards. So it's a very versatile set, but it's also a nice watercolour based set. Gives that nice modern watercoloured feel to your cards. This card class has been inspired by Angie McKay from the US. She is a fabulous demonstrator and I love her stuff to pieces. So this card is cased from her, and then the rest of them, this one's cased, and then I've kind of expanded on her style and her cards that she did recently, and I just was blown away by them, and I thought, oh, I want to do a class on that. So yeah, this class uses the stamp set, as I said, Every Good Wish. It also uses the two pack right markers that are also currently available, and then you just need the three basic colours, Old Olive, Real Red and your Archival Black. So those are the three colours that we're working with, and the papers that we're using are again from the same catalogue. They are the Merry Little Christmas, I think. Oh, I always get this one mixed up with the other one. No, I'm right. Merry Little Christmas Designer Series paper. And it comes with some lovely black and white and green and white papers in it. And so this set just sort of highlights those and sets them off. And then obviously it just uses some Real Red cardstock, some Old Olive cardstock, and some thick Whisper White cardstock. So to put the cards together, obviously, if you've received my class actually in a box, then you will have these supplies with you at home. If not, if you're watching this video up on my YouTube channel, then you'll need to assemble the supplies yourself. So this is just a normal A6 size card base, which we've then just folded the first piece over in half, and that's for European measurements. It's about 7.5. Obviously our card bases are 14.8, 14.9 this way, so I roughly do 7.5, and that kind of gives you your front there. So they're all normal size cards, which means they'll fit into our normal size C6 envelopes. This is another cut this way lengthways, again the same size. So that's 10.5 by the whole length of your A4 cardstock in the European sizes. And then these two are folded the other way. So again, thick Whisper White, and that's cut this time at 14.9. So you just pop one sheet in there like that and cut it in half. Okay, so that's your basics. And then once you've got those pieces, then you're going to need your stitch shape framelits, your ovals, your circles and your squares. So I kind of use the whole range here, but obviously if you have the class in a box, then you'll have received those elements from me. So let's start with the most complicated, or at least complicated looking card. So we're going to start with this one. As I say, I have just cut a normal card and then just folded it in half back on itself that way. Okay, and then you're going to layer that with a piece of on the inside. I always like to have, you know, something nice on the inside, especially on a card like this where the inside is going to be showing. You know, when you stand that up on a mantelpiece, you will see the inside of that. Oh, I'm getting quite a lot of shadow. Let's move that away. Is that a bit better? Let's bring that down. Is that a bit better? Maybe, yeah. So you'll see the inside of that card when it's standing on your mantelpiece like that. Yeah, you'll see quite a lot of that. So you want the inside to be a little bit pretty too. So you'll take a piece of Old Olive, just plain Old Olive cardstock, cut down to fit inside. So that's in European measurements, that's 10 by 14.4 centimeters, and then you'll just layer that on top of that with a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this is cut down to 9.5 by 13.9. Okay, so that's your inner. And then on the outside you're going to take a piece of the Designer Series paper. It's this lovely checkered piece here. On the other side there's green stripes. You could have green stripes if you wanted to, but I liked this piece. This was how Angie did it and I really liked it. Again, this one's cut down to 7 by 10 because you want it to have that little border around it. Glue that piece on there, and then you're just going to wrap it with some of the lovely solid real red ribbon. Now I'm going to tell you that this stuff is beautiful, but boy is it shiny, and therefore it's very slidey. So you might want to take a big handful here in your hand, okay, so you've got enough, and then you're literally just going to wrap here around and hold it again with your thumb, and around and hold it again with your thumb, just because it does slide around quite a lot. And then what I would do is then tie that in a knot. Okay, so then you're going to tie that, and again your knot may become undone if you try and then do it straight into a bow, in which case I would tie it in another bow, in another knot beforehand. It's up to you, but it is quite slidey, this ribbon, as you can see. Yeah, I've just about done it, but you might want to tie that in a double knot first, because you can see even when I pull it tight, it sometimes does start giving again. So yeah, so just be aware of that. You can fix the bow any way you like. You can either tuck it under the other side and do your double knot that way, or you can just pop a glue dot on it and just force it to stay into place. So that's that card. That's the technical piece on that. There's nothing really else technical. You're going to stamp your piece of card that goes in the center here. You're going to stamp that with these little sprinkly bits, okay, which just look like a little splatter. So you're going to just take your stamp, and I worked it this way around, so the fat edge was here and then the thin edge over here, and just whoop, technical term that, whoop. Doesn't really matter where it goes, you know, it's a splatter, so it's going to look like that. You could add some more if you wanted to. So that's that piece. Glue those two together, and then you're going to come on to the stamping of the main event, the Be Merry piece here. So I've cut these down from the square layering framelets, and this one I've left quite a large border around because I wanted it to be the centerpiece of the card. So I wanted it to be large enough that it would take the stamp set, the image on the stamp, but also that the border was a nice large border. So I prefer it where you can see the actual border behind. So I don't know why I'm stamping that. I'm not stamping that, I'm stamping this. So again, with your real red ink pad, and this is the Be Merry. Now it looks really weird. I'm going to ink it up and I'll show you. Okay, so it looks weird. Can you see that when I turn that way? Oh no, you're getting a bit shine there. Let's bring that light in a bit more. Can you just see here that it looks a bit dryish, almost that it's not got any ink on it? Trust me, and this is really kind of juicy. Trust me when I tell you it does actually have ink on it, and it will stamp nicely. You just have to believe that the people at Stampin' Up know what they're doing, which they do. So you just get it around the right way. So you need the B to be at the top, and that sort of dodgy patch to be on your top right, and then you're just going to stamp straight down, and because it's rubber you don't have to hold it very long, and lift. And look how that's done that. Isn't that amazing? See, that just gives that beautiful just beautiful watercolour effect without me having to watercolour it. Genius. Okay, so that is the Be Merry for that one. And then I would just glue that on there, which I'm about to do. My Tombow. Tombow or fast fuse? Tombow or fast fuse? I've been switching backwards and forwards today, so I'm just going to use my Tombow this time. Okay, so that goes on there like that. Okay, and then the important bit is that when you come to actually pop it on your card, you only glue this part of it. So you only glue the part that's actually going to go across here. I'm not sticking this down because, do you know what? I've got enough Christmas cards right at this minute. I want to keep this to turn into something else in a bit. But you're going to just glue the piece that you want to stick to that front, because when you turn it over, you don't want any glue on this part. Okay, so work out roughly how many squares along you're going to do. So it's going to be about where the Be Merry is there. Put your finger over that, turn it over, and then just glue downwards from your finger, and then you know you're going to have the right side. Okay, that's my little trick of how I did that. Then you're going to want to create some of these holly berries and leaves to go on the front. Now this does require, I'm going to say it, fussy cutting. There we go, it's out, it's done, I've said it. But it's not masses of fussy cutting, and it's really easy, okay? So don't panic. You're going to take your markers, you're going to take your stamp, you're going to do the marker to stamp technique, which basically just means that you're colouring in your stamp rather than using an ink pad. So you're going to do that with your old olive, and I always use the brush end because it's much quicker. And then you're going to do your berries. Just be careful that you don't go over your leaves, you know, don't go drawing all over everything, but that's simple enough. So that's it. Then I do a huff where I just breathe on it. And this basically just puts a bit of mist over it from your breath, so it just makes the ink a little bit damper again. Okay, so then we're going to take my snips and cut this out. And you're going to need quite a few of these. You're going to need, two for this card, two for this card, and one for that card. So you're going to need 5 of these. So you would be doing 5 of these, okay? But I'm not going to bore you by sitting here and doing 5. I'm going to just do 1, just to show you that it isn't actually that bad. And remember, if you've seen any of my cutting before, you'll see that I always keep my scissors still and move the card around me. Move the card, not around me, around my scissors. You know what I meant. Because that then saves a lot of jaggedy edges. It helps to keep the edges nice and smooth. You can go as close or as far apart. I like to leave a little bit of white around mine because I think it just helps to show off the colour just a little bit better and make it a bit more obvious that it is 3D. And it also helps when you're doing things like berries, because you can't, you know, you're not going to be able to go around all of those individually. So you're going to want to show that there is a bit of colour in between. So leaving a little border around everything helps. Okay, so there you go. That was it. And how fast was that? So by the time I've spoken and explained to you what I've done, I've just cut one out, and you only need 5. So then you're going to pop those on there. And again, I just use my Tombow. The card is going to be a little bulkier than normal anyway, because you've got the depth from the second layer here, and then you've got this on top. So I wouldn't add any more dimensionals or layering to it, especially if you're going to post it especially if you're in the UK and you're going to post it, because obviously size and depth matter here. So pop that on there. There we go. So you've got your little holly berries up there. Do another one down here somewhere, wherever you fancy, and that's it. That's that card done. Okay, so that's the first one, and that's really the most technical, and you could see how easy it was to stamp when I'd already cut the piece out. So don't be afraid to cut pieces out and then stamp afterwards. Okay, so you could take this away with you on holiday, You could take pieces away and put it together when you're out and about, etc. So you don't have to have it all, you know, and stamped and then cut and then whatever. So for once I'm saying stamp after you've cut it, which isn't my normal. I know normally I would say always stamp first and then cut out, but in some cases you can do it the other way, and this is again one of those cases. So here we have a standard card base. Just grabbing my card bases from up here, sorry. So standard card base, obviously fold it in half, give it a good burnish. Always need to have a good burnish. There we go. Check for your leading edge. Always check that. One edge will always be just a minuscule amount longer than the other, and that is perfectly normal. It's called your leading edge. Helps you to lead into the card and to open the card properly. All commercial, you know, purpose-made cards, printed cards, they should all have a leading edge on them, because that's how you know that it's a good quality card. So yours should always have one too. Okay, so again, flat base. This is again 10 by 14.4, and this time I've cut a piece, another piece from the paper pack. This is just a 3 centimetre strip, I believe, just over an inch, yeah, 3 centimetre strip, and I've cut that to 10, so it'll just fit along the, from edge to edge. I have then pre-cut one of the ovals. This I think is the largest oval. Yes, it is the largest oval and the largest oval stitched shapes framelit here. And again, this time I'm just going to stamp that in the other stamp set that's in the set. And this one says peace, love and joy. So again, ink it up, and yeah, bubbly. And again, you'll see that this isn't, it doesn't look quite done, but it really is. You'll also see that I've managed, because it's stuck to it, I've managed to now get myself mucky. Hang on. Can't have that, don't want that all over your card. Okay, so I'm going to go down with this one again. Yeah, make sure it's the right way up. And again, you won't be able to see exactly where you're going if you've received these from me, but it doesn't matter, because once you're down, it looks great. Yeah, you've missed maybe a splotch over that side, but apart from that, everything is there. And you can see again the graduated colour going through to the piece. Again, this beautiful watercolouring effect. Okay, so what else do we have? So that just literally then just goes on there, and then another couple of those holly berries and leaves cut for that. So that's the second one. Next up we have this one. This one is again a little bit more technical, not too technical. You take a normal card base, cut lengthways. Lengthways is easier, it just means it's easier to see where the middle point is. Before you fold it completely in half, you know, you can fold it in half and then open it up again to put your circle oval framelit in here. So for this one I used, it's the same as I used for cutting out the front piece. So you need to cut this piece out here, so you'll take it through your big shot, run it through that way, take a hole out like that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of real red cardstock, and you're going to run it through, and you're going to run it through with the largest oval die. Okay, so you're going to run it through first like that, so you get a solid oval left. Then you come back in with your small oval, and see, now you can see where you want to cut it, because you can see, you can layer that on top and see where it's going to give you a nice frame. So then you cut that piece out, and normally we'd keep the bit we're cutting out of the middle, but this way we get rid of that bit and we keep the bit that's left over, because this now is our aperture surround. Okay, so you're going to glue that into place, and here I would definitely use Tombow or fine tip glue, and we're going to just pop just a small amount. You need to be a little bit, you don't want a lot, because you don't want it squishing out the sides, especially you don't want it squishing out the inside, so that when you fold your card's stuck together and they can't open it. That's not cool. That's not what we want. So just a small amount of glue like that. This Tombow's, this multi-purpose is amazing. It just sticks so quickly, and it does stick very firmly. So pop it on. Now in the cutting it may have moved slightly, so you just kind of squish it into place. There we go. And now you have that lovely aperture opening. And then the tricky bit here is really to see where you're going to stamp inside. So I took my red piece and I put it inside the hole, like that, roughly. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be in there. And then lift that off. And then that gave me some guidelines as to where I was going to go and stamp. Okay, so I'm just going to clean my stamp because it's red at the moment. Let's try not to shake you whilst doing that. Okay, right. So now this one I stamped in Old Olive, just so that we could have some variation, so you could see through. So now I know roughly where my, there we go, I know roughly where that is, so I know where I'm going to be positioning it. So I can hold that there, whip that off, and then go down. Of course, when we have our new Stamparatus that's going on reserve again over December and January, when you get your new Stamparatus, you can do that without having to worry about all of that, because you just flip it over. It'll be brilliant. I can't wait. Cannot wait for that to arrive. Okay, so then when you close that, you should see, ta-da, that your Peace and Joy is in your oval. Okay, so that's the tricky part there, really, and that's roughly it. Then I just put another. I went a bit mad with these. You don't have to go quite so mad if you don't want to, but I just again took my splodges straight up from here, straight down from here. I like these. You could kind of have them coming together. Woo, like that. Turn them around, do them that way. Yeah. Have them going outwards. You need to know when to stop. I don't know. I never know when to stop when I'm doing my splotchy things. So, because I'm not a grunge girl, I'm normally a clean and simple girl. So yes, you do need to know when to stop with your splotching. But I think that looks okay. And then I just went back in, and this time, rather than doing some of these holly leaves and berries and cutting them out, I just went back in and stamped them straight into the card. So this time you're going to go there, and then berries. Oops. Because I thought it'd be nice to have a bit of a flash of red just showing through from inside to outside. There we go. See, so we can just see a little bit of red berries coming through there. So I think I did one at the bottom, didn't I? Yeah, I did another one at the bottom as well, which you can do. My green's looking a little red. I don't think I cleaned that well enough on my pad. Either that or my stamping scrub probably needs a clean, because I've been doing quite a lot of red stamping today. And then obviously you need to finish it off with a bit of bling. So here's my trusty stamp case with my bling in. So this is going to be just a few rhinestones. Put one up there. Let's stick that one up there. Stick one down here. And again, 3 and 5 are your nice numbers, remember, so 3. 3 looks good. Okay, so that's that one. Finally, probably the easiest one of the lot is this one, and this is stamped this time in black. So I took the Be Merry, and again this is influenced by Angie, because she's I wouldn't have thought to stamp it in black, but actually it looks really stunning in black. So again, this time I've used the largest circle stitched shapes framelit, and then the largest scalloped circle to go behind. These are really tight in terms of how they fit together. So again, I would use multi-purpose glue just so that you've got that movement. Stamp your Be Merry in black, leave it a moment because it's archival, that needs a little longer to dry for our stuff. And then the base is made up from this. Again, this is 10 by 14.4, and this strip is 3 by 14.4. Pop that down there. This time I popped these up on Stampin' Dimensionals. I finished it off with another one of the holly leaf berry cut out pieces, and then I added rhinestones that I had coloured in with our new Stampin' Blends. Even though these are cherry cobbler, dark cherry cobbler that I used on the rhinestones, it doesn't really show. They just look like jewels, like red jewels. So yeah, really great use of your new Stampin' Blends is that because they are alcohol markers, you can colour rhinestones and then they go red. Looks great. Just leave them to dry for a minute. So this card you'd need to leave to dry for the black and also for the rhinestones. If you bought this as part of your card in a class in a box, you will have some coloured in for you, so you can see what they look like in real life. Excellent. So that's it, really quick today. Just thought I'd whiz through, 4 cards, oops, and show you how simple it can be to put together when you use a lovely stamp set like the Every Good Wish stamp set. But this has been my final class of the year. My December 2017 card in a box, class in a box. Oh, I'm going to get the name of that right one of these days. Maybe by next Christmas I'll have that right. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this class in a box. And if you want to purchase any of the products that you see here, if you're watching this and you didn't manage to get my class in a box and you want to purchase the stamp set, the inks, the papers, etc., all of those are available online, and I will pop a link to my store in the description below, and also hopefully a supply list. If I can work out how I do that, I can pop a supply list up there in YouTube for you. So please go shop online, have fun. It would be lovely. Obviously I always send out a little thank you card and a lovely little extra something. And so with that, I'd like to say goodbye. Thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely Christmas with you, your family, your friends, whatever you do for Christmas, or whatever you do across the holiday season if you don't celebrate Christmas. I hope it's a special and happy one, and I look forward to seeing you again in 2018. Thank you so much for your custom and for watching me this year, and I look forward to sharing more with you next year. Thank you. Bye-bye.